What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode as we journey across media. I'm your host, Jam. You basically here for another jam session, as always. And I got some new guests with me. I have never had these folks on before. Y'all are probably so tired of seeing Dennis, so tired of seeing TJ, and then y'all come with me on Agents of Fandom and see TJ too. Nah, I had to bring some new folks on, some people I've been trying to have on forever. I feel like it's been a long time. And I haven't known them quite long, but it's been a great pleasure to get to know them. Starting off with my guy Nick. Nick, you had me on your podcast. We've met through
Mhm.
threads. What? Because of a video I put out or something,
Yeah,
right?
you put out that Guardians Fantastic Four video, and I was like,
Oh,
I
you
wonder if
like
he'll.
glitched a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. Could you hear me okay?
Nah, you sound like. Oh, now you do. You sound
Oh,
good.
okay. Okay. I was
That
gonna
was
say
weird.
it. Save your audience for my voice. It's fine. It's all right. No, I came across you from that Guardians Fantastic Four video you did, and I was like, shot in the dark. Would you want to come on my podcast and talk about your ideas? So, and we've been chatting ever since.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure once again to get to know you, and and we have a lot in common. We have a lot of differences as well, which I like. Even when we disagree, it always kind of like is a friendly conversation, which is hard to have nowadays on social media. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's been a pleasure. Sam, I've known you almost a year now. I feel like
I
it's coming up, right?
know.
Like it's been fun. We got to meet at New York Comic Con. You were Laura
Mhm.
X-23 on the Wolverine on the day that I was like Cowboy Wolverine, and I was like, yo, I gotta get a picture with her, and I gotta get you into like this little reel I was doing for the socials,
Yeah.
and then we just kind of connected, and we've been in touch ever since, talking about nerd shit that we like. So it's been a
Yes.
pleasure to get to know you and
Yes.
Daredevil and Nerd Out.
Yes. Well, it was really funny because we kept running into each other that whole weekend.
Yes.
You
Oh
remember
yeah.
that? And we were like, we can't keep doing this. Like, why
You
are you
followed me, and we was
filling
like,
my
yo, you
space?
followed each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, that was like the gag of the weekend, but it was so fun.
Yeah,
And
that's what
it's been
that's gonna be our running bit. And sadly, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm going to be at New York Comic Con this year.
no. We need to get you
Yeah,
in there.
I know. I gotta get in there. We couldn't get with. I'm still new with agents, so I couldn't get my badge for a press badge and finances. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it out there because last time I was out
Yeah.
there, last year I had family that like had a apartment. Actually, funny story before we get into the Punisher, because he's in this film. I have to announce this as well. Um, that in the Punisher special presentation where they shot his like where he was living at in that apartment complex. What was that in like Lower East Harlem?
Yeah.
That's actually that's where I stayed at last year for New York Comic Con because that's where
Oh.
my sister's best friend, so like a friend of the family, she had like an apartment there she owned,
Oh
but she
wow.
lived in Pennsylvania, so I got to stay there. So when I seen it on a presentation, I called her immediately. I'm like, yo, like, and she's like, you know what's funny? I sold that. I'm like, why would you do this? Why would you? I don't have more proof besides pictures that with friends and shit, you know? So, but fun story. Nonetheless, Punisher, it's bring it all full circle. We're here to talk about Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I felt like, Sam, we've been trying to do this for so long. I'm just glad to have you on for something Marvel. Like
I
Spidey,
know.
it's a pleasure to have you on for something Marvel once again. And then Nick, I feel like we just nerd out about a bunch of superhero shit. So bring this all full circle. I'm really glad to have both of y'all on. Because this is y'all first time on. I don't really know y'all like what y'all are into besides kind of what we all share for the most part. So Sam, I actually throw it to you first. Like whenever I do a podcast, I always try to have my guests talk about what they're nerding out to or like geeking out to or just having a hyper fixation on at the moment, whether that's what you're watching, what you're TV, movie, maybe something you're reading, listening to
Yeah.
music. I know you've been on your Ariana Grande vibes lately. So tell me what you've been getting into.
Well, right now, I mean, obviously, like everybody else, Spider-Man for sure has been like on my mind this entire week and leading up to it. I feel like Marvel's always like the general thing that I'm always geeking out over. But this year, I've been really more intentional about like what I want to watch. So I'm on my Alfred Hitchcock journey right now. So I'm trying to watch
Ooh.
almost all of his movies. I just most recently watched Notorious, which was like amazing. Um, so yeah, I'm on like an Alfred Hitchcock journey, and obviously Ariana Grande and Spider-Man. So that's what I'm mostly geeking
Have you
out
watched
over right
North by
now.
Northwest yet?
No, I haven't, but that's
Oh,
also
that's
one
a
that's on my
real
watch
good
list.
one. Yeah.
Okay, maybe that would be my next one. I was gonna do I think Shadow of the Doubt next, but
Okay.
we'll see.
Tubi's got a bunch of them because I like
Yes.
the yeah. So, but yeah, definitely recommend that one's really good.
Okay.
I always pay attention to everybody's letterbox, both of y'all's letterbox. And Sam, you got the oldies, like you like a lot of the oldies type things, like the 50s, 60s. And so one of the things that I did was I went to like everybody's letterbox that I follow or follows me, whatever, and took their top four that I haven't seen and added it to a watch list. So it kind of just
Oh.
gets through
Wow.
like a bunch of film that I've never seen. And so I seen a few of yours, and then as I see you watch, other stuff, I'm like, all right, I ain't seen that. I'll add it to the list. So I did see you've been on like your Hitchcock wave a little bit lately, and
Yeah.
it's a good time, man. I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not. It's very hard for me to watch older films. I'll be completely honest. I'm very interested to go in with that lens. Like, all right, this is stuff that like my friends are really interested in. I want to kind of like see what this is about.
Hmm.
Nick, what about you, man? What you been getting into? What you been nerding out to?
Yeah. So much like Samantha with not so much a Hitchcock phase, but I do love older movies. A lot of Billy Wilder. So like The Apartment. If anyone listening or watching hasn't seen that one, again, not to plug Tubi, but Tubi's got a hell of a good oldies movies like selection.
Hmm.
Uh, that's a great movie, very funny. Jam, that would be one. If you don't like old movies, that one feels somewhat modern while also being in like 1959, but like the premise is great. And I think it flows really well. His movies, because older movies, you do have to like remember that there's a whole different style of acting that if you've never seen them, it's going to seem very odd. It's almost like very kind of play theatrical esque acting that
Mm.
was way different than now, but a lot of great movies. Yeah, I've been trying to, obviously Marvel, with Spider-Man, we talk all the time about just one, we're very bad at just letting things happen. We're always like, what do we think's gonna happen? And we're like, just gotta let it play out. Which
Hmm.
is not just you and me, Jam. That's everybody. It's like
Yeah.
I think everyone's so trained now to go, tell me enough, but don't spoil it. But it's like, but also maybe just don't even tell me anything and then like be surprised,
Mm-hmm.
But I've been trying to get into converting like DVDs or movies that I thought I owned that I don't, and try to get my physical media collection's pretty big, but I have a lot of DVDs, so I've been trying to like convert them to Blu-rays or 4Ks. So I'm always looking for like a steel book if it's a movie I love, or just getting a Blu-ray or a 4K. So I've been trying to be better. I kind of went on a bit of a spending spree in July, so I'm like, okay, gotta tamper it down a little bit. But yeah, I'm just trying to get that, especially because streaming, as much as obviously is very convenient, I'm always shocked when a movie I thought would be on something for free isn't. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like if I own it, it perfect. So yeah, I've been trying to build that back up, slowly, but it's getting there.
I just love that you said all of that because I actually want to have an episode. And I'm gonna again. He'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary friends of them. He will be back because I want to have a podcast episode about physical media, and that's just a whole separate conversation
Yeah.
that we can, you know what I'm saying, that we can get into. Um, but as you guys said, we're here to talk about Spider-Man. We all have all been inspired into Spider-Man. I rewatched the last, I guess, Tom Holland's trilogy. I didn't go into watching like Civil War or like the Avengers films because I'll probably wind up getting into that when like the doomsday of it all comes. But I wanted to just watch his films, and I recently rewatched Spider-Man 2 like a few maybe weeks now, maybe a month ago or something like that. But I rewatched Spider-Man 2, still my favorite movie of all time. But that being said, I want to get into kind of a spoiler before we get into it. Spoiler free stuff with Brand New Day, and that is like our first thoughts. And coming out of this movie, my first thought was this is the best Spider-Man film of all time. Even though it's not my personal favorite, I think objectively across the board, everything I want or fans would want from a Spider-Man movie, this has it. It may not do everything as well as some other Spider-Man movies, but I think it does it still freaking well, enough to be a really great movie across the board. That was my first thoughts, but I want to throw it back to you guys and kind of get like your general thoughts when you came out of the theater. Nick, I'll start right off with you, kind of throw it right back to you.
Yeah, man. No, I loved it, dude. And like I'll ask you and my podcast partner Phil, I'll always be like, hey, give me your non-spoiler if you see it before me. Just a quick thought of did you like it, did you not like it? And like you and him both were like very high praise for it, without spoiling anything, and just like this is, and you both said almost the same thing. Like objectively, you're like, I think this is the best Spider-Man movie. You're like, it has everything. And like his reaction was pure magic. And I'm like, it did. It felt, I think, again, not spoiling anything, but I think it balanced it being a Spidey story, still tying stuff with the MCU, but then also doing things that while they felt familiar and new. And in
Mm,
Spider-Man, that's hard because we've had 25 years of Spider-Man movies where you could only do like web slinging and his fight style so many times without feeling
mm,
repetitive. And it never felt like, oh, okay, we're doing the same thing again. It felt like we'd seen it before, but not really. Like it was this weird, in a really good way, balancing act of making it feel fresh and still the stuff that we love about Spider-Man, while again, just continuing with these characters now that like after this movie, you're like, where does it go next? It's great, but also it's like, how do you top this one? Like in my head, I'm like, I don't know if you could make a better Spider-Man movie than that, but I would love to see this group come back and try because they're going to make another one. So I'm like, if you have the same group doing it, man, I'm all for it. Keep them coming.
I don't think I see anybody else doing Spider-Man as of right now. It gotta be. It has to be Destin at this
I
point.
think
I
you'd
agree
back the
with that.
Brink truck up to his house and go, here you go. I know you have another project you're doing, but just when you're done, could we focus on that?
Yeah, yeah. I think Marvel has got something with a few directors that they just need to like specifically lock in with. Sam, first thoughts coming out of the right. You feel me? Like
I
they
totally
just
agree.
like
Like
they just gotta lock it.
they know who their special directors are, and like they need to like really nurture that relationship. For me, honestly, the first thing that I felt before going into the movie, I was just excited to be sat for another Spider-Man film. I was like, oh my gosh, it's 2026, we're finally getting like a Spider-Man movie. It's been so long. I feel like his journey in the MCU has always been like supporting another characters, or I feel like characters that have been in his prior movies somewhat overshadowed him.
Mm,
So I was excited to see like a true Spider-Man film, and I think that's exactly what we got. So following the movie, I felt very good. Like I felt very joyous. I like at the same time I felt the themes of the movie very heavily. Like it was a lot of stuff about the grief and change, especially, which is what I resonated with most. And I think that's like the essence of Spider-Man for me. Like he's such a relatable superhero because he's literally just a kid from Queens who puts on the Spidey suit and like, tries to do good. And that's always like his internal battle. So I think not only I kind of summed it up in what I wrote in my review, but I really felt like it was like a love letter to, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and also like a love letter to Spidey's relationship with New York and like just how real and like grounded he is. And I think they did a beautiful job of honoring both the comics and also the Spider-Man movies that came before Brand New Day. Like as I was watching it, I kind of was like, wait, are they making like direct references to these Maguire movies and like even like a little bit of Andrew's movies? And I felt
yeah.
like it was just like a very good mesh of like everything. And yeah, I mean, I agree with what Nick says about it being like actually like I see it as like a corrective experience for Spider-Man in the MCU. Like I feel like after we've seen him support all these other heroes and like Iron Man being in his movies and stuff like that, like this was a very corrective movie experience. And it was like this is Peter Parker, and this is not only Peter Parker but like Tom Holland's Peter Parker, and he cares about it. And same with the director. I think his name's Daniel. What is it? Daniel
uh,
Destin,
Cretton.
Daniel
Yeah,
Cretton.
yeah.
yeah. His name rhymes. But like it's also nice to see that he also is like a true Spider-Man fan too. Like I feel um like the start of the MCU was like they did it for fans, by fans, and I feel like we were reminded of that with Brand New Day.
Mm,
It's
mm,
for the
mm.
Mhm.
fans.
do what?
Yeah.
Yes, bro. Yo, it's beautifully said. I agree with everything you said. For me, going into this film, Toby is my favorite Spider-Man, and maybe that's just the nostalgia thing. I'm a kid from the '90s. Even though Toby was in his third, he was my age and like his 30s playing young Peter Parker. But I've always loved those movies, and and there's a lot of great points about those movies on how they're not great movies. But I still look at those movies and I'm like, they hold the test of time. And so I've always felt like I've never given Andrew a fair shot. That was in like I want to say, I guess late teens, young adulthood. And now with Tom in my adulthood, I've always been like a little nostalgia blinded. And I've been lately trying to be more open minded about that, being respectful, being honest, especially getting into film and stuff more. And so going into this film, I was very like open-minded about that. Like, yo, the nostalgia glasses are off. Like, I want to really appreciate this film for what it is, knowing that Spider-Man 2, I don't even know it. Like, this is a whole nother segment that everybody who's been watching like podcast episodes knows, but I don't really know what my top 4 films of all time are. I'm still trying to figure that out amongst my own favorite movies because I like so many movies. But I
Mhm.
do know Spider-Man 2 is my favorite film of all time. And going into this film, I'm like, kind of what Nick said, I don't know how you ever will top that film for me. Taking the nostalgia like glasses off, but I think they did it. That was my like again coming out of the theaters. I was like, there's things I don't like. There's things I absolutely love, but this objectively, I think is for me the best. It may not be my personal favorite, but I
Mhm.
think it stands as what. So like I said earlier, I think this is the best Spider-Man film for me. So let's
Yeah.
dive into it a bit. I want to start off kind of segueing from that with I think objectively, I don't know about y'all, but again, I said Toby is my favorite, but I think Tom is the best, bro. Like I think Nick, what you feel? You feel
Yeah,
he the best,
yeah. Oh
bro?
no, he's actually my favorite Spider-Man because I feel like he had an impossible task of not only are you taking the mantle of a character that was so associated with one actor, kind of rejected at first by the second time they tried to do it, even though those movies still made some money, but like I feel like the Garfield Spider-Man movies have aged better in terms of his performance as Spider-Man, whereas the movies still people were like, okay, it was very studio heavy, a lot of villains, and you're like, okay,
Mm,
but that had the unfortunate task of you're trying to follow up Tobey Maguire, whereas Holland, it's like, well, not only are you following all of that, you're getting dropped right in the heart of when the MCU was cooking and they're trying to do something they've never done, which is make Spider-Man part of their world. And that's why it was never a problem for me, him not always being the like sole focus in his Spider-Man movies, because they had never tried to do
mm,
Spider-Man in a larger universe that's not his universe, not just his character, villains and whoever. But I always thought he had the kind of boyhood charm of what Peter Parker could be. And also he just felt different than Maguire. And I like that. I like that it
mm.
didn't feel like it was okay, we're doing the same type of actor and they're just gonna rinse and repeat, but we're gonna do it in our world. I like that they tried to make him a little different. And maybe also because I like just loving the MCU as much as I did, I loved how he was incorporated into the world. So for me, it was like I saw him as a high schooler in high school. I
Mhm.
always felt like Maguire felt like an older actor playing a high schooler, which
Yeah.
is not his fault. That's just how Hollywood is for up until maybe
Everybody at this
yeah,
point.
maybe the last like 15 years movies have tried to be like, okay, let's actually cast people who look like they're in high school for high school movies. But I also just think that they're just such different films that it's kind of like a pick your poison. It's like, who's your favorite
Yeah.
Batman? I think they're both great. I think actually Spider-Man is casted 3 for 3 with their Spider-Man. I think all three have brought something different to it. But like for me, I just feel like Holland, I mean, maybe too, the fact that he does a lot of like the movement stuff is actually him. I mean, he's a very
Mm,
acrobatic guy, and he just seems to really love that character. And now he's got kind of the carte blanche to go, I don't want to just do another movie. I'm going to have say in this character. And I like when an actor does that
yeah.
because then you feel like it's like with the Punisher. Barenthal ain't gonna play him if he's like, this sucks, I don't want to do it. Like, he has come out and said, he goes, I don't need the money, I'm not gonna play him if I don't agree on what they're doing. And I like that when an actor actually, and it's not a, I know I'm in a superhero movie and I'm gonna make fun of it and then still take the paycheck. So yeah, I think he for me is maybe I think he's become my personal favorite. And but again, I think they're all three of them have done a great job, and that's why No Way Home works so well. Is you're like, holy crap, we get 3
Yeah.
Spider-Man in one movie. But yeah, so
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. You kind of encapsulated exactly how I feel, except that he's not my favorite, but
no, for
he's
sure.
damn near close. Like I'm not gonna. I think he's got the essence of what everything you want from
But
Peter
but you and I
Parker.
talked about it too, though. You grew up on Maguire's
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
yeah.
It's hard to
Let go
take
of
that
that.
away from someone, and nor you shouldn't you. I mean, it's part of what made you love these movies and love that character. But it is hard. It's hard, you know. I know my top 4 favorite movies, so I know sometimes where I'll be like, is this an objectively better movie? I don't know, because I love these 4, but I
Yeah, yeah.
also have grown up. 3 of the 4 movies I've watched for 30 years. You know, it's like it's hard to not think about that when you're trying to think about like what's your favorite in
Mm.
whatever the genre is.
I also think, things change as you get
Mhm.
older, you know what I'm saying, your feelings and stuff like that. But you brought up a really good point of like letting go with Toby, and the reason why I also feel like this film is the best Spider-Man film is because this was a feeling after the fact, not a first thought, but after the fact. I was laying in bed, and the next morning after I watched it, no, I guess it was Saturday. I seen it Thursday night. So Saturday morning I woke up and I was just laying there, scrolling Twitter, the things we all probably
Mhm.
do every once in a blue. And I'm like, wow, I really felt like a kid again, feeling how I felt about Spider-Man when I went to go see Spider-Man. I seen Spider-Man 2 on my birthday, so it also has like that feeling connection there. It's a memento, if you will. Um, but laying there in bed, I'm like, this made me feel like that, and I got teary-eyed. I was like, I cry for everything, y'all. I'm super emotional. I cry for everything, and I literally I literally got teary-eyed. I was like, fuck this. I feel like it reconnected that love I had with Spider-Man, because I've been very hard. If you guys watch anything or hear anything I've ever do, I'm very hard on Spider-Man, because for the past like 15 years in comics, in cartoons, I mean, even in freaking live action, I just haven't. Specifically comics, he's been ass, but that's a whole nother topic of conversation with Spider-Man. Um, so I've been very hard on him, and so this was the first time I felt like in a long time, like, wow, I remember why I love this character. But Sam, I want to ask you objectively, or even if this is your personal feeling, how do you feel about Tom? Do you think he's the best, or do you got somebody better than him, and why?
Well, I too am a Toby truther. Like I grew up like my first Spider-Man experience is with Toby Maguire's Spider-Man, and
Oh, hold
like,
on, I think that's
ev-
me. That's
wait,
me.
what's wrong?
Y'all are glitching, and I don't know why.
Oh,
I know it's a little
Oh no, you're
glitchy for me
good.
too, but I hear you. I hear the voice sounds good, but it's like the video's a little laggy. Um, is it good now?
Nah, hold on.
I mean, I can still see
Okay.
you moving.
I see you
Yeah.
guys. I know we got a storm out here, so I'm thinking that's on my end, and I don't know why. I've never had this happen before. And of course, it happens when I have two new people on, right? Oh wait, I think y'all are
It's all
good.
right. It
Okay.
You're
happens.
good. You're good. You're good. You're
Okay.
good. Sorry about that.
So I don't know if you heard before, but I said I'm also a Toby truther. I grew up with the Toby movies, and I find myself every time I'm rewatching the Raimi trilogy, I'm like, yeah, Toby's my favorite because like it's just I just feel like those movies are so on the ground, like even more so than Brand New Day,
I agree.
just because of the way they film it and like how practical it felt, and like even like sometimes when I see the Spider-Man suit in the newer movies, it still doesn't look real to me. But the Toby suit, despite like it not being my favorite design, it's definitely the most real that I see in the movies, and I'm like, okay, I really feel like Spider-Man is like there, like he is
Mhm.
in front of Goblin, and like it's like I feel him in those scenes. But like sometimes with like the Tom movies with like the suit, it just feels a little like CGI, like green screen suit type, and it's like doesn't feel that like real to me. But that being said, as a Toby truther, um, at the end of the day, I think Tom does I think he embodies Peter Parker very well. And I don't know. I think I'm just gonna admit it. I think Toby is my favorite, despite me wanting to say Tom is my favorite. I think like what you said, Jam, like Tom is like the best, but Toby is like my personal favorite. Like it'll always be Toby for me too. But like Tom is really great though. Like I feel like similar to what like you said, Nick, like all three of them, Toby, Andrew, and Tom, they all bring something different to the character. And I just love Toby's like he's like has such a great humility when he plays Peter, so soft spoken and so like emotional, and I just love that. Like I love that. But whereas Tom, I think he is really good at the quips and like being very much like oops sorry, like that very like lighthearted Peter. And I actually wanted Tom to tap more into the emotional side. Like we definitely saw it in Brand New Day, but I feel like Toby's really good at like hitting it home in the emotional aspect, and I feel like we almost got it with Tom in this one, and we did in some ways. But I really, really, really wanted to see more of that struggle. That's not to say like Tom didn't do a great job. He did. I'm just like, it just hits different with Toby. I don't know why. It's just
Nah,
different.
we here, sis, because I feel that too. Like I actually felt like Tom performed better in the Odyssey. I was like, I felt him more emotionally in the Odyssey versus,
Mm,
and I felt like in this is your movie. Granted, the Odyssey is like 40% his movie, maybe 35, give or take,
mm,
whatever. But uh this is like your movie. I felt like I should be emotionally connected, especially what you're going through as Peter Parker. I felt like
mm,
more emotionally invested in the movie than I did Tom's performance. I wanted to get into this a little bit later. We can segue into this though, talk about people's performances because things Zendaya and Sadie Sink were my standouts. They blew it out of the park for me.
mm,
I uh I wanted to actually add on to something you said though, Sam, because I think the reason why I also agree with the realness of Toby's movies and it feeling like he's there, like he's tangible. And that's because I just seen the
yes.
interview with Tom Holland that, and I mean you see always the behind the scenes. They're never in New York. I
Nope.
just found that out. It's
Yep.
because
Yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
Well, they filmed most of that in Scotland. Like uh, that whole city sequence. It was in and I love Scotland. I love Scotland down. But like the benefit of the Toby movies is like they're in New York. Like you can literally tell that they're in New York, and I think that can affect the movie and how it like makes you connect with Spidey and it being in New York City. Like yeah, sure they have that little B-roll montage at the end, but like only for the credits, not the whole movie. You're not in New York. You can just
Yeah.
like being from the East Coast and like being so close to New York, like you can tell when it's New York and when it's not. And like
Yeah.
I remember being like, oh wait, I remember they did say they filmed in Glasgow, and I can tell that it's Glasgow. It's not New York. So
Or
I
I
think
can
that can
tell
hurt
when it's
things too.
like the blue screen, when it's that blue screen behind
Yes.
him. I'm like, yo, like I know New York. I told this to my guy. I was like, I just will never like the way New York in the MCU looks. He's like, but it's looked the same. And I'm like, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why it
Yeah.
looks like that. It's because it's CGI'd. It's not like actually New York. And it's because they're not allowed, or I don't even want to say they're not allowed to film in New York. They just can't shut streets down. So they won't do it. And it's like, that is why older movies, at least in the, 90s, early 2000s,
Mm.
felt more
Mhm.
real. Like they felt
Yeah.
like this feeling of, hey, you are actually here. This is tangible.
Mhm.
And I just know my city. I rewatched uh to get ready for seeing The Devil Wears Prada 2. You watch The Devil Wears Prada 1, like she's actually walking down the street like in the city.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, I agree with you on there. But back to you wanted to add on to that,
Oh
Nick?
no, I was just gonna say, and Spider-Man, similar to Batman, so notoriously tied to his city, except Gotham's a made-up city. New York is very much real. Like, even though,
Right.
Yeah.
but like it's very different. And now I'm not from the East Coast, so I've only been to New York like I think once. But like I can imagine like if you've been there a bunch, or like just getting used to how it is to be like, okay, it'd be nice if they could shoot there, but that is just more of a like the kind of reality we live in is the major cities are just so expensive to shoot in. It's really
Yeah.
high. I live in Illinois and I lived in Chicago. The the only thing that shoots their small stuff now, because like you're closing down a small little block and not trying to like shut down like when they shot The Dark Knight, you know, which
Yeah.
now anytime I watch that movie, I'm like, I've walked past those buildings so many times.
Yeah.
It's so cool. But yeah, there's definitely that tangibleness of like when they're actually in a city.
Hmm.
But it is cool that the opening basically of the movie, the Glasgow stuff and that one chase was like what they first showed as a promotional.
The
Remember
montage,
they
you
did
mean? Like
uh
when he was monologuing?
um not the monologue, basically right after, which has been in the trailer with Frank when he's the tanker part. That's
Oh
like
yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
trailer, but that was the first thing they showed was him in front of all those people in
Yeah.
Glasgow watching, like Tom Holland with the cables on and stuff, and on top of that tank. So I'm like, oh, it is funny that it's like one of the first things in the movie is one of the first things they shot was that
Mhm.
whole chase sequence. So
Yeah.
Yo, all right. So you bring up. We've talked about. I mentioned Sadie Sink and
yeah,
Zendaya as my favorite performances. I want to talk about. I want to know y'all favorite performances as well. But you brought up John Bernthal, and I just gotta. I feel like everybody came with their A game as far as acting. They feel like they're characters for the most part. Like I don't think Zendaya has had a more like MJ performance for me. This was
Mhm.
like the perfect encapsulation of what I envision when I think of or when I'm reading MJ on text or when I think of Mary Jane. Excuse me, Michelle Jones. You know, but I want to bring up. You brought up Bernthal, Nick, and I feel like the Punisher and Spidey had like Tom Holland and John has such an incredible chemistry that I did not think Spidey and the Punisher could have. I mean, you think it's just man. So I wanna throw it to you right back to you, Nick, really quickly. Who are your favorite standouts? What did you think of their chemistry? Kind of encapsulate it all together.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you about Zendaya and Sadie Sink. I think the whole cast was great. I don't think there's like a performance where you go, oh, they didn't really show up. I think
Even
when
the
they had,
standouts, by the way, not to
oh
cut you
yeah,
off, like
yeah.
the when she was hopping into people,
Oh, so
like
good,
those
dude.
like those extras. I don't
The
even say what they're supporting roles. Like,
the guy, and it's in the trailer. They don't give him a name, but it's when he's like, "Hey man, how you feeling? You getting that monster out inside you?" And then
oh
she stays
yeah,
in him for a while, and I'm like, that dude gave a killer monologue, and it's like you get 1 minute of screen time in this huge movie, and he made it count. But I actually, not that he's the best in the movie, but I loved Mark Ruffalo when he's Bruce Banner talking to to Peter, not knowing who he is, and he's geeking out over science, and he's like, finally, someone asking me something that's not. And I love how they use Ruffalo in this movie. They don't overdo it with the Hulk. It gives you the great fight sequence, but also I think it was a good thing of like Bruce Banner to be like, I'm trying to put everything in my past. I want to be like to teach people about this stuff. And what does everyone in his class do? Oh, could you tell us an Avengers story? Like, I love it. I think that was a great way to use him, to tie him back in of like, that's right, Hulk's still here. When is he coming back? We don't know, but like, I loved just the looks Ruffalo was giving him. Like, this guy's really smart, but I clearly know he's not a student of mine. But like, it was all in
Mhm.
his face. And again, I'm not saying he's the standout, but for me, I loved that kind of scene and a half of them actually talking science. It's the most interesting like
scenes.
science discussion
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
had with
yeah.
stuff with Ruffalo's character, and then also, were we spoiling it?
That's fine.
Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
part?
yeah.
Okay.
I would,
I
yeah.
loved Florence Pugh's little like two scenes. I think of all the Thunderbolts to use, hers was perfect. Like, use her. I like she's kind of flirting with Spider-Man to try to make him uncomfortable. That whole bathhouse scene's great, of just him being like, this is so uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. And she's like, I don't care. You're getting in here or we're not talking. Like, I just thought it was a good way to go. That's right. The Thunderbolts are there, or the new Avengers, but the whole optics for them is, we're not handling street level stuff. That's all you, Spidey. Go right ahead. We're looking at things in space and blah blah blah. Like, I think that was a good way to go. Here's why the cops aren't coming to the new Avengers with like bank robberies and stuff, because a lot of times movies will just gloss over that when you're trying to tie
Mm.
in all these things, and it's like, okay, that would make sense. you would go to the Avengers normally, but they'd probably be like, nah, don't. That's way below what we do. Like we're
Small
trying to,
potatoes.
yeah, exactly. The small potatoes and big potatoes.
Perfect.
But yeah, no, I think really everyone was great in it, and everyone's chemistry, and obviously Zendaya and Tom have great chemistry. Clearly, that would be really awkward if they didn't, considering they're engaged or are they married or
They're
no, they
married
are
now.
married. Yeah, so. But yeah, I just thought everyone brought their A game. It didn't feel like, oh, we're doing another Spider-Man movie. Like it felt like everyone was like, yeah, let's get back into this world and keep these characters going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually do it.
Yeah.
Sam, how about you? Who was your standouts? What'd you think of the Hulk of it all, and Bertenthal and Tom's chemistry?
I really thought Zendaya gave like her best performance as MJ. Like she definitely probably was like my standout, just because like you could see how much her character has grown since the other movies, and like you could really like there's a difference between like really seeing them like convey that with like the dialogue that they say and then like how she portrays. So I thought she was incredible. I loved seeing Ned again. He's like the best like comic relief. Like he's just so funny. And I agree. Like I think they used the Hulk in a very like uh very like classy way. Like he wasn't just there to make a cameo. Like he really like was it felt like he was there to like move the story along. And I personally love seeing Savage Hulk again. Like I've been so tired of Smart Hulk in my like just personally. I'm just kind of like let him be the Hulk. Like let
Mm-hmm.
the other guy come out. So I'm really happy that we got like a really good fight scene between him, Punisher, and Spider-Man. Like that felt like a really good um, way to tie in, especially like seeing Bernthal's Punisher in like this big Marvel movie, especially being someone who like loves Daredevil and like loves street heroes. Like I felt like it felt very special to see him interact with these guys. Like it felt good to see him interact with Spidey and also like have his moment with the Hulk,
Yeah.
or lack for a better word, not engage with something above his pay grade. And it was just like it was just a fun sequence. That was like definitely my favorite part of the movie. Um, and I also liked seeing Frank Castle be a little bit humbled too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think this story made him realize like, can't just do things his way. Like Spidey has his way, and it's like he like completely, spoiler alert, like really screwed it up towards the end, and I think that really affected him. So I think that was good for him to be humbled. And yeah, I guess so. So bringing it back to the question of standout performances, I would definitely say Zendaya, uh, John, and I really loved the use of the Hulk. It was awesome,
Yeah.
perfect.
Ah man, so I got a little kind of like staying on this topic, but the Zendaya for me of it all was the moment once like the balcony scene. The balcony
Mm.
scene was when I solidified it for me. I said this is the best MJ, but like not just the best MJ, like the best I felt in that moment, I was like, I immediately I need Zendaya to be in a and villain role, like in a
Mm.
movie. Like, and people will say challengers, like they'll be like, she kind of is in challengers. And I'm like, no, but you know what I mean though. Like
Yeah.
not a superhero movie. It could be a James Bond movie for all but a villain, which by the way, James Bond, I'm going Tom Holland as my fan cast for James Bond at this point.
Oh,
You let me cook. Let me cook.
I
But yeah,
like Artie Fusion. Go on.
what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I can't say his last name, but the guy who plays Buck in Daredevil, Artie Frozen.
Oh yeah, he would be
Yeah.
good.
So
Oh, that's
my friend on social media named Allie, she did that fan cast, and Vincent D'Onofrio supported that. So
okay.
that's all the information
I'll
for
leave
the
that one.
James
I'll
Bond.
leave that one. Uh, but I really would like Zendaya in like a villain like esque role. After I seen her performance in there, I want to add on to the Hulk of it all. I really do like the Hulk and the way they used him. I don't like what happens to him in the end. I told this to Nick, or I wrote it in my letterbox too. I don't like that he gets put to the psych ward, and undoing all of this year's work that he's done. I mean, they mention it there, right? But one
Mhm.
thing I want to bring up with the Hulk of it is I'm confused with the kind of timeline or what's going on with the Hulk because in the last time we see him I think is She-Hulk, right? And he's like Smart Hulk. And even
Yes.
if that's not the last time we see the Hulk, right? My that's kind of like a secondary question. My
Well,
main
no, because he's in Shang-Chi as well, and he's got the device that keeps him where he could stay as
But I
Banner.
thought Shang-Chi was before
It was before,
She-Hulk.
and then like he could control how he wants to go back and forth depending on how he wants to do it. That's
Right.
why when he first turns into Hulk, he is Smart Hulk again, and then like he gets into the Rage Hulk after it. So I think he's kind of figured it out where he could be whichever version he wants. He just can't still control fully Rage Hulk, which he kind of briefly
Mm.
says a little bit. But I also think right now is anything that happened to this point with him outside of Endgame, I think they're just kind of like
Throw him in something.
but I think they're like the canon aspects of it are just you have to go with us because I think they're like She-Hulk just didn't work enough for them and also the tone of
Sad,
that
bro, because
show.
it's so fucking great. That shit is
Yeah,
amazing.
but it's hard to go from if it's being played as a joke to then using him seriously depending on the project. So I think they're kind of like where we're going now is what Bruce Banner's doing going forward, where he can
Mm,
control it, except obviously when Sadie Sink gets in his mind that or that or Jean Grey, that's the only way to get him to Hulk out essentially is
mm.
as long as that wrist thing he says is on him, then he won't Hulk out. It's when it's off, then he can't control necessarily
I
turning
see
in.
what okay.
So I think it's just kind of like you got to fill in the dots,
It's
like
kinda like a MacGuffin in this situation. It's
Yeah.
it is a little bit,
But
basically
yeah.
and I get that. Okay, you know what? With that explanation, because I feel like the MCU fan in me was struggling with the comic fan in me, but also just the general fan in me. It's just like, bro, like, I like the Hulk. He's one of the original Marvel Big 3, so it's
Mhm.
kinda like, make it make sense, but kinda
mhm,
get you hearing it explained that way, I'm like, the MacGuffin of it all is it just makes it have fun with it at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I do want to stay on the Hulk with it because this
yeah.
is in defense of Tom Holland or not Tom Holland, but of Peter Parker Spider-Man. Spider-Man more or less, I guess. No, I think this would be both. This is a Peter Parker and Spider-Man issue, but the internet is ridiculing him for I guess rightfully so, but making the inhibitor possibly collar for the mutants in the future. And I feel like if we're being technical, that's the Hulk. Bruce Banner is the one who made that. If we're
Mm.
being real, he created an inhibitor for himself that he infused with gamma radiation. All Peter Parker did was ask, "Can I use those same things for myself? Can I use those exact same tools with foreign DNA?" Which is what it was. It was spider DNA that he got infused with by the bite. So I think people are looking at it. Obviously, it's a joke. It's funny. It's meme worthy. It's social media. They're like, yo, this is a Spider Man movie. It's Spider Man's fault for the X Men. But if we're being real in defense of my guy, Spider Man, Peter Parker, we got to point the finger at the Hulk. It's definitely Bruce Banner's fault. What do you guys think? Sam, I'll keep it with you. I'll throw it right back to you.
Well, I wanted to add on what you said about how they handled the Hulk towards the end. I'm actually also not happy with throwing him in the psych ward, and I think they've actually mishandled the Hulk a lot. I don't. I think there. I think we need justice for Bruce Banner. Like he shouldn't just be someone who we just throw into a movie or a show just to like, oh, he's here. Like let's don't forget about Bruce. Like he's still out here, but he doesn't. I think he deserves a movie. Like I love the Eric Bana Hulk movie. Like that is like I love Eric Bana as Bruce
So
Banner,
good.
but so good. Like that's the blueprint, you know. But I actually haven't seen that discourse about the inhibitor. I also wanted to add I do love Sadie Sink as Jean Grey. I think she embodies her like perfectly. So that was another standout performance for me. And I'm more excited for X-Men than I am for Avengers. I'm just gonna say it. I think like the X-Men are gonna be it's like a breath of fresh air. I think the MCU really needs that on top of the Ghost Rider announcement. Like I think Marvel really needs to focus on going in a completely new direction. And Jam, we kind of talked about this with the whole cancellation of like Wonder Man and Blade, especially. But I don't know. I don't know if I can comment on the discourse about the inhibitor. Like I haven't seen any of these theories. I actually didn't even think about it that he could be the like at fault for the X-Men. So I don't know.
For the inhibitor collies. Yeah, okay. Did Nick,
Yeah.
did you think about that? I didn't even know
No,
it.
I heard I was watching a show where they were like some people were saying that, and I guess it just depends on what you see online, but it's also like it's social media. People are gonna complain. Like if they're legitimately complaining about that, it's like, guys, a
Oh no, I think it's like more so like like a fun discourse, like a
oh yeah,
ha he
if it's
created.
in fun, like okay, because I told you about it, Jam. I go, I would love down the road, not right now, but down the road, I'd love to see Spider-Man and the X-Men in something or have a scene
Hmm.
together. So because I thought him and Jean had a great chemistry, or him and Sadie Sink had a great chemistry together, and you could see Spider-Man helping them out while also it being like if they ever
It's a
did come back to
responsibility
that,
thing to it.
but if they ever did come back to the
Mm.
inhibitor going, you're the one who started this. If you ever wanted to do like an issue, not saying the whole movie's going to be them fighting each other, but a villain trying to turn them against Spider-Man, you could totally set that up. Like you've planted a seed that doesn't need to be watered or bloom for quite some time. But if you ever
Yeah.
wanted to go, hey, whose fault is this? That's always a way to tie them in. Because I do think well, look, I'm very excited for Doomsday. I do think Marvel's state of mind right now is get us through Secret Wars because they want X-Men.
Mm.
Whether it's and we talked about it, we hope Wonder Man gets thrown in somewhere. I think they will because I think he's too good of an actor, and I think they're like, we know people loved him. We'll figure it out. But I think right now they are trying to be like, we need to nail X-Men. Like that's how this brand keeps going because it's the one thing the MCU hasn't been able to do yet. That Kevin Feige is waiting a very long time to be like, finally, I get X-Men. So I like them using Jean Grey in this movie to go, here's one of our most important X-Men. And it never overshadowed Spider-Man. It never felt like, oh, there's just this makes no sense. Why is there an X-Men in here? Like I think they found a way because I think if it would have been Wolverine or Beast or Storm or even Cyclops, it might have felt there's something about Jean Grey that I think really works with the first time getting to introduce her in this universe, especially young. Sadie Sink, why you cast someone like that is she's very talented, she's young, and minus Stranger Things, it's not like she's known for a singular role yet. I do think being in Stranger Things, it will take people some time to like accept her as she gets older to be like, oh, okay, she's not in that show anymore. Like it's not, it's like anything with kid actors. As they get older, sometimes you watch them and you're like, it's so weird to be like, you were a child when that show started. It would felt like 80 years ago, by the time it ended. So I'm I think the Hulk problem they've had is I think he just for whatever reason, and it's not just it's anyone who's tried to. I think he for them is just a hard, and I don't know why it is. It's just a hard character to write a solo movie for. Otherwise, they would have done it by
The
now. I
Hulk.
think.
I feel.
I think for them, I'm not saying it would be for every writer, but I think they just haven't figured out a way to nail a
Nah,
solo movie.
I think with the Hulk, the issue is, I think your mic is glitching a little
Oh,
bit, by the
sorry.
way. But I do think with the Hulk, it's not even just they can't figure out the writer aspect. I think it's more so they don't own the distribution rights. They
Well,
own
that
the
too.
rights to the character, but they don't want to give Universal any bread at all. They already got the Hulk freaking ride at Universal, the amusement park in Florida. That's really if we being a hundred about it, it's because they've done it in the past. The Incredible Hulk. It's more so. I'm assuming it's the distribution rights. I do want to get into because I feel like we kind of glossed a little bit over Jean Grey of it all, which is like a whole big part of this fucking film. Like, I mean, it's kind. This is kind of like a Spider-Man slash X-Men. I don't want to say X-Men, but like Jean Grey origin story, if you
Mhm.
will. And I do want to get into the Jean Grey of it all. So let's see, where do I start? I feel like coming out of the theater the first time, I was a little bit more like, I'm not rocking with how their interpretation of Jean was. At least from what I know from comics, at least from what I know from, the animated series, or even, which this isn't the greatest adaptation of her, but the Fox movies. I'm like, this isn't what I feel like Jean is. I'm not saying Jean is a saint or anything like that, because that's not the case at all. She'll do whatever needs to be done. But I think there was some innocence involved that I was just like, man, I'm not rocking with this. I'm glad I seen it a second time because although I still am not 100% on board with that, it does feel more like this is the Jean. Obviously, we get before Charles gets his manipulative ass hands on her and kind of like changes that whole narrative or mindset. And it could also just be the direction that they might go with the X-Men in general. I mean, at the end of the day, the X-Men don't play no bullshit, especially when it comes to their people. So I'm curious if it's gonna be we're actually gonna see the dark side of Charles Xavier, if we're gonna see um that I mean, not really the dark side of the X-Men, more so Xavier, because Xavier, I've said this on the Agents of Fandom. I say this everywhere I can. Honestly, I am like the biggest. I hate Charles Xavier, but I kind of I appreciate not really I appreciate I respect Charles Xavier, but man, do I despise that man because he is not a good man like at all. I love that people are starting to be aware of this, like it's more or less. I'm not saying Magneto is either right either, but that's kind of where I'm aligned. But back to the Jean Grey of it, how did you guys feel about? I know we said was knocked it out of the park, but how did you guys feel about her in this movie or this adaptation, and what do you guys think of Sadie Sink's character moving forward? Sam, I'll throw it to you.
I
Whoa,
okay. I
hold
think
on, hold
two
on.
oh
I'm
I
gonna
was
mute myself.
glitching.
Let me see if it's it's. Let me see.
I mean, I could hear her okay.
You can hear her okay?
I think it might just be. I think it'll look good in the video. I think it just might be on your end because of the weather. But like I
Did you
heard
mute
what she
me?
was about to say.
All
Yeah, I
right,
can
go
hear you right
ahead.
now,
Go
Sam.
ahead.
Okay. I think two things can be true. While I really like Sadie Sink's portrayal as Jean, I think she's a great Jean. I think where the movie started to lose me in the grounded aspect, because all we want is like a street level Spider-Man. I feel like we didn't really like. I didn't feel like she was a big threat. Like I feel like it didn't. It felt that this is the part where it feels like it's very much like a MCU fantastical movie when like her plot. Like I feel like it would have been more compelling to have a different like this is where it doesn't feel like a Spider-Man movie because now it's like we're bringing in a pretty big X-Men character and introducing her. And I get it's like they wanted it to maybe come off as like, you know, Peter's just a kid too who's also dealing with grief and find him relatable to her. But I actually think it took away from I don't know if it's problematic for me to say, but I feel like it kind of took away from the grounded story of it just because it like is introducing the X-Men. And I do feel like they added her in, maybe because Kevin, whoever makes the decision, is anxious to bring in the X-Men. So like that was their way of introducing her and like opening up that world. And while it makes me excited, I feel like I also would have been okay with a version of the movie where the villain was different. Like I just didn't something with like all the Marvel movies recently, the stakes never feel that high anymore. Like it's like
That's fair. That's fair.
the threats don't feel like I didn't feel like oh my
It
gosh, like
mattered.
I knew that that guy, the head of the damage control, I knew he was like a
Bad.
suspicious threat to like I knew Spider-Man was walking into that trap. Like when I saw let's talk about this too. The way they dumbed down the hand after the hand was like such a big threat in Daredevil and the Defenders.
I
Like
didn't think
I
about
didn't
that
really I
actually.
didn't I didn't really like how they handled the hand because I'm like, hello, like that was the whole plot of season 2 of Daredevil, and then also Defenders. But I'm just choosing to believe just because their head guy in charge of Nobu was taken out, that's why the hand was now, you know, being puppets for the DODC. Like if Nobu was there, he'd be running that like the Navy. Like he would not let that fly. So I don't like how they did that with the hand. I feel like that was kind of a huge that was a letdown for me. Not so much where people were complaining that they felt misled by the hand supposedly being the big villains. Like I was let down as like they weren't even a threat at all. Like
Yeah,
they were
and
just kind of used.
and I want to add on to that really quickly. I think the marketing failed this movie. As crazy as this sounds, because it's doing tremendously well. I think they everything in the trailers, like you kind of don't really have like I don't want to say surprises, but I didn't need to know the Hulk was in this movie. That would have been a very nice surprise right there.
Yeah.
I I also think you have
My
to
only
market this.
pushback would be uh, not. I think the hard part with movies, I'm not trying to defend movie studios. Look, these guys make more money and are corrupt enough where it's like they don't need me trying to help them out. I think the problem is it is so hard to not have your movie spoiled nowadays. I think sometimes you're
That's
like,
fair.
we have to give the carrot because if we show the Hulk, then maybe the Sadie Sink of it part won't get spoiled because they never show her in the trailers. They just
Okay,
show the
okay, okay.
shadowy
But
guy.
to play
But
devil's advocate,
yeah,
the not the Hulk, just an example. Back to Sam's
for
original
sure.
point
Yeah.
of like the hand. I didn't if they marketed the hand like it was gonna be a big thing, and not just the hand, but I also didn't need to see the montage of him taking out Boomerang, Tarantula, Ramrod in the trailers because I thought I was like, okay, we're gonna get a crazy montage scene like in F4. Maybe not in F4 we didn't see all of these, but we got stuff
Mhm.
we didn't get in the trailer. Whereas in this, that was all stuff we already seen. I'm thinking we're gonna get like
Yeah.
maybe mad of Spidey's rogues villains that we would never see ever again, but at least we get to see them in live action once. So I agree with. I wanted to add on to Sam's point before because I want to let her
For sure.
finish
Yeah.
about like how they marketed this film. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Sam.
Oh no. Yeah, like I think what we got is like what the best they could have given us. But I often have been wondering, like, if they really, really, really kept it grounded. No X-Men, no like fantastical MCU stuff. Like, imagine if it was just Peter facing like such a different threat, like similar to like the Toby movies. I hate to like bring it back, but like it's so true.
Yeah.
Like those are such true grounded movies. Like I really wanted that for Tom's Spider-Man. But of course, Marvel wants to cash in on the Hulk. I think bringing in Punisher made perfect sense. Like I think that worked. But I wonder what it would have been like if the threat just felt more like with like higher stakes. Like I felt like it was kind of like an easy kind of win for him, and also like it wasn't really that. It was compelling in the themes, but it wasn't compelling in like the threat sense. Like it was kind of like, oh, Jean obviously is not like a villain. Like obviously she's misguided right now, but had she had just been, if there was like some simple communication between her trying to find her sister, like we kind of probably could have avoided this whole thing.
You know
Um,
it's so
it,
crazy. I feel like that about a lot of. You're on the money because I felt like that about Black Panther when I first watched it. I'm like when Killmonger walks into the throne room and he's like
mhm,
demanding the chat, demand like and like mad Aggie.
mhm.
And T'Challa could have just been like, bro, hold on. I just found out about you
Yeah,
yesterday.
like
Like, we could have
yeah.
this conversation. But
But
I do feel like there's reasons, like emotional reasons behind that. Cause then I'm told, like, when you think about that, like Killmonger has waited his whole life, marked his body just to get to that one moment. Sadie
mhm,
Sink, I don't think there's really no talking in this moment. Like, you're working Spider-Man, like in her eyes, you're
yeah.
working for the DODC. You're like their
Mhm,
head little guy. You got
Yeah.
you're key to the city Spider-Man. You the
mhm.
ops basically, you know what I'm saying? So I do agree with you. Like that threat level of things in the MCU, it feels like, yo,
It just
these are
never
things
hits.
it never hits because these are things that could be worked around. So I also want to add on to that. I'm tired of them either one killing off a villain or two making villains compelling when I just want a
Mhm.
fucking bad guy to be an asshole. I just want him to be a
Yeah.
bad guy, like for being a bad guy. Um,
Mhm. The
damn,
last time, yeah, the last
no,
time
go ahead.
I felt, the last time I felt, like holy shit, like this is a crazy threat, like was when Hydra was revealed into Winter Soldier. Like that one for me, I was like, oh my goodness, like Shield is corrupt. Like that really felt, that was like the last time I really truly felt surprised in a Marvel movie and really was like, oh my god, like this is like changing everything because now Fury's out of a job and like everybody's rogue. But ever since then, like all these like the threats just never have like felt so like like a reckoning in the universe, and I feel like we need that with Spider-Man because like we I think it could have been better with, not better, but like I can imagine if they had just kept it like Spider-Man versus like a classic Spider-Man villain instead of like,
Mm,
oh, it was Jean Grey all along, oh, he's gonna help her, and then the DODC is the bad guys. Like I wasn't really like threatened by the DODC, like I didn't really care, so that's
yeah,
my
and I want to add on to this one last thing before I pass it to Nick. The thing I don't like about the gene thing is how he beats her essentially. It's like, oh, Aunt May is the and don't get me wrong, it's a Spider-Man and I told this with Nick too. I was like, it's a Spider-Man film. Like they got that's gotta be the tie there. It's gonna be Spider-Man. It's like almost I'm a Naruto fan. I'm a big anime Naruto fan. Like
Mhm.
Naruto has to talk no jutsu to people. Like he has to. I've been through the same thing. Like I used to be by myself. I have nobody. I lost everybody. Like it. I get the It's very. This movie also was very anime tropey, which that's probably another reason why I like it so much. But the, that's such a tropey power of friendship like thing that I didn't want. Not necessarily from a Spider-Man movie, but through the lens of Aunt May, because yes, they tie it all together beautifully, like you said, Sam, with the themes of grief, the themes of letting go, the themes of change. But Aunt May and Spider-Man are the reason why Jean is not going off the deep end. Like it should be, and
Yeah.
maybe this is the comic book fan like in me, but maybe I just wanted that to be Charles being manipulative or Charles creating a found
Mhm.
family for her, like Professor X. And so that's a little bit where I agree with the Jean of it all. I am intrigued where they go with her, though. I do think, like you said,
Yeah,
great
definitely.
performance, great performance. It just makes me think of the future of the X-Men, and kind of like what you said, like the whole overall MCU of it. But I counterpoint, well, not counterpoint. I just think this is, to your point, this is the closest we're gonna ever get to an MCU grounded Spider-Man
Totally
film.
agree.
Like
If
this
that,
is like
yeah,
the
and I,
closest.
mhm.
Whether
I
we
think they did the
love it
best
or
they
not
could.
is the yeah, that's
No,
what I'm
yeah.
gonna say. I think they really tried their best. Nick, how do
Also,
you
yeah.
feel? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna one more comment. Like, also with like what the studio would allow them to do, I think this is the best we could have got. That's
Yeah,
it.
got it. Yeah, yeah, facts. Nick, how do you
Mm,
feel about the Jean Grey of it all? I know we've talked a lot off pod, but how? And then I want to transition to the one thing with her. But what did you think of this story with Jean Grey, that her characterization and all
yeah.
of that, and then end it with me, and then I'll pass it to Sam next. But she's heading upstate. At least I think she's heading upstate.
Yeah,
They're
I
gonna
think,
film.
well, and even if she's not going upstate directly to Xavier's school, it's like I think that's where she's going to meet Charles Xavier. So what's funny is I'm on the opposite of you guys. I actually liked how Aunt May's the one who got her to calm down because she didn't have a mom, and all her sister was like, Our mom wasn't loving because you could have loved us even though we were different." Like her calling out
I
her
did not think
mom
about that, by the way.
change, because remember, Jean's trying to defend their mom the whole time, where her sister's like, "Hell no, she abandoned us. That we shouldn't forgive her for that. Like we're different. You could have still raised us." And I think all she needed was someone to be like, "It's okay that you're different," because in her mind, the only thing she has is what that group did to her sister. And I know, look, it's I'm the same way of I don't need a villain to always turn good. It's what I don't like about Star Wars as someone who didn't grow up on Star Wars but does like Star Wars a lot. I don't like that every villain now they're like, we got to let them turn good. But having said that, I do think, and this isn't just the MCU, I think it's DC's problem. I think it's a superhero genre overall. It's hard to make everything feel like big stakes when we already know sequels are coming out after. Like they'll
Mm,
announce a sequel to a movie when the movie's still in post production, and you're like, well, now we know this character's like, for instance, I know you liked Jam the new Superman, and
right, right,
I've
right.
told you about how Superman to me just isn't a character that I've gotten into, and part of it is because he's invincible. What I liked about The Boys was Superman is the villain. How the hell are you guys going to live in a world where the villain can't be beat? I think that's more compelling, but I do think what the genre, what's so tough about it is, a you have source material, but do you want to stick to it so much where
Mm,
if you know the source material, the story's ruined for you. Now you may still enjoy it, but if you know exactly what's going to happen, it's with like Game of Thrones. The first 4 seasons are all the books. So you know, and they followed it pretty close. So you know
mm,
exactly what they're going to do. So if you didn't read it, it's an all new surprise for you. And if you did read it, you're like, okay, I know what's going to happen. So can you hook me? I do think, and again, I'm not defending Marvel because I think it's for any comic book movie, is when there's source material, it's what do you do? Do you want to be different and take bits and pieces, which could piss off fans, and that's
Mhm.
fair because it's happened with both companies where you like an idea, but you're like, I wish they would have done this because in the comic it works. But there's also so much comics to go off of. So as someone who never got into comics and is way more of like got into superhero stuff with movies and then is trying to broaden his horizon, like for me, it's like I guess, is there ever truly like that fulfillment because someone's gonna be like, yeah, but that's not the comic book I liked from this character. Like Jean Grey, do you want to make her exactly like this story, this story, this story, or you're like, we're taking her elements and we're gonna fit it into the narrative we're gonna create,
Mhm.
and either you're gonna be along for the journey or you're not gonna like it. And I'm not saying what you guys, I think it's totally fair because again, you guys have years of reading comics and the shows. Like I more know Jean Grey just through the animated show
Right,
and
right,
then
right.
like watching the movies. And the same thing with Spider-Man. It's like as much as we want to grounded, and I get it because it would be cool, I think, to see like a complete him by himself.
Daredevil, man. That's a whole
Yeah,
nother
but
conversation.
we've already had that with the Tobey Maguire movies, which is as grounded as
Oh,
they'll
oh.
ever be. So it's like, do you want to just do the same thing with your own spin? And again, I'm not defending them. I'm saying I think this is the constant balancing act with trying to build your own universe while still taking stuff from the comics, but then trying to not just copy them verbatim. It's like Civil War.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I know it's completely different than the
Oh,
Civil
yeah.
War
I
comic,
Civil War might be my favorite, MCU movie,
but
if I'm being quite
but
honest with
it's
you.
but it's a lot
Oh.
different. Yeah, but it's a lot different from the comics. Look,
Very
Guardians of the
different.
Galaxy, I that's my favorite, one of my all-time favorite movies, period.
One of mine
It's
too.
nothing like the comics. Everyone's like, if you read Guardians comics, they're a total hodgepodge of like
Yeah, yeah.
James Gunn just took the characters, some of the like worlds, but really did his own thing with it.
I
So
think for me, it's
yeah,
always
it's
depends on the character. Like, with Guardians of the
for sure.
Galaxy, they're like a little niche with
Oh, 100%.
characters like
Spider-Man's
Jean
not a
Grey.
niche
Right,
character,
right, right.
It's same
Or
thing with Batman. Batman's not a niche character. There's
right.
only so much you could do. But no, I think for now we have to see where they go with her. But for me, just I didn't mind that it was like I actually thought it was a great way because I love Marissa Tomei. I mean, I think she does a great job as Aunt May. I liked that if you were gonna bring her back, that it's a conversation he had that she's putting herself in, and she just needed someone to tell her who's not clearly trying to stop her because it's subconscious. It's Peter's thought, but it hits true to her. But again, I could see both sides of it of people going, "Oh, I didn't like that. That's how she's not bad." And also really the threat for him is again, what happens with Punisher is like, "Oops." And for like a split second you're like, they're not going to kill Spider-Man, but you're also like, "Ooh, damn, he's about to bleed out. They better hurry up." And then the iconic shot of him walking through the door, holding him. But I just think it's more of the genre, not just the MCU on the like stakes in these movies. Because
That's
again,
fair.
part of it is I think knowing there's always sequels, and we've also now had 30 years of like where comic book movies have been way more prevalent.
Mm.
It's not like the one-offs, where it was like not as common, So like in the first Spider-Man, you don't know what's gonna happen. You're like, oh man, there like Green Goblin felt like a huge threat to him, not knowing that we're gonna get two more movies, after the fact. So I think that is part of it too, though, is we have now seen so many of these that we know like they're not gonna kill certain characters. So if they do
Mm.
kill them, it would be the ultimate shock. But you also know like Spider-Man's not gonna die anytime soon, at least especially not after this weekend.
Not
I'm
after
like,
this week.
if they were gonna kill him, it's gonna be a few movies down the road. But
I
but
think for me, it's like
yeah,
more so a characterization thing, though.
for
Like,
sure.
if I do agree, I don't want the same thing from comic books. Like, I don't want it from page to live action because then we would know what's gonna happen. We know, you know what I mean? It's kind of, I mean, I say that as a person who reads manga and then watches anime, and that is literally an exact adaptation.
Mhm.
There is no translation or no changes in that. And I actually have wanted something from Marvel and DC to do that. Not saying I want that from the live action movies, and DC kinda does that with their animated movies usually, like, they'll take the comic and then make it an animated movie, and it's pretty, for the
Mhm.
most part, accurate. I would love for Marvel to do something like that with their animation. I guess X-Men '97 is the closest we will get. but I say all that to say I think my thing is the characterization of characters. Like, and for the most part, I think we have to see what that becomes with Gene. Because for me, it didn't feel like Gene. I say all that though, and I love your lens on it, Nick, because you're a dad, that you're a parent. So I don't think I can't speak for Sam. I didn't think about that with that lens. That definitely gives me and I've seen it twice. That gives me a very different look at that. Like, I just wanted a mom. That was one of her most prevalent scenes with her sister. Obviously, her sister getting kidnapped. I did not think about that as Aunt May playing the motherly figure. And I don't know how I didn't think about that because that's like right there in your fucking face. But that definitely gives me a different perspective.
Well, but this is why I like talking to you all the time, Jam, about comic and like Samantha, Sam getting to know you through this is like you guys care about these characters. And there's a reason why you guys have like gotten into the comics. And I love talking to comic fans because it's similar to Star Wars. Again, I was very late to the game with Star Wars. So someone who grew up with it, I totally get when they get mad at like, I don't like the way Luke was portrayed in this movie.
Mm,
And it's like that's totally fine. I just my thing has always been like I just don't know if there's it's like they're the way to really satiate everybody with it because comics more even so than Star Wars is there's so many Spider-Man
hmm
versions. Which one are you
You
going
can't
with?
please everybody,
No,
man.
no,
At the
you
end of the
can't. You
day,
can't. And I'm not saying you guys are doing that. I'm saying I think
right?
when they're first putting it together, it's like you kind of have to just go, hey, just make a good movie,
What's
which is
gonna
what
work?
this
Right,
is.
right.
This
What's gonna
is a
work?
very
Yes.
good movie. So I'd rather like be the good movie that then you could nitpick a little bit because you're like, I just wish they'd go more grounded than, oh, they did this and oh god, it's just an awful movie where you could tell like kind of like the Garfield ones where you could tell it's really Sony's like influence on just
Mm,
make it as kind of paint by numbers as possible and we'll just bank on it because it's Spider-Man. So
I agree.
I'll at
I
least give
agree.
them that is that like I think they did let Dustin like tell as much of his story before being like, okay, but you also again like Guardians, hey James, do your thing, but you have to include these three things at some point.
Hmm.
Thanos clearly we need him introduced bigger than what we did already. Okay, cool. I'll write it in. As long as it doesn't hurt the story, I don't mind. And I do think, like you guys said, for the most part, the tie-ins felt like it didn't hurt it enough to take away like, oh, it's still not Spider-Man's movie enough.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
Jean Grey is very important, but really she gets like that little 10-minute sequence to kind of like
Well, she
be
got like a lot
important.
of the third act.
Yeah, a
I
lot
would
of the
say she
third
got the
act.
third act.
Yeah.
It's like at the third act. Sam,
Yeah.
what do you think? You think Gene's heading upstate?
Yeah, I definitely think that was like my first thought. I was like, oh my gosh, she's gone to the X Mansion. Like, I don't know. Somehow she like figured out where Professor X is. Um, yeah, totally think she's going upstate.
I would love if, like, in the X-Men movie, they have like a scene of like during maybe her keeping Spider-Man alive or something, or like during or maybe she's on the bus, like he calls her, like kind of like a straight translation from Spider-Man into
Mm-hmm.
the X-Men film would be nice. Or just like I guess her perspective of the X-Men film.
Well, do you
Um,
guys think they're going to have them in Secret Wars is a big
oh,
thing, or do you think
she's in Secret Wars. That's
like
right.
I don't think they're going to be in Doomsday. I think clearly
She's
Doomsday
casted, but
is
Sadie Sink
the
is casted in Secret Wars.
yeah. I'm curious how big they're going to make because you it feels very Black Panther, Spider-Man coming into Civil War, where it's like
Yeah.
if you find a way to do it right, you could really give them a good first taste into the MCU. But also then it's going to be curious because it's like, how do you introduce Xavier getting to know them unless
Mm.
it's just Jean Grey and the cameo in that movie is like at the end of whatever happens in Secret Wars, then you meet the rest of the X-Men of like Xavier because I'm just curious how they do that
Hey,
if
you
that's
might
what
have
they
just cooked.
do.
I could see it being just like
Well,
that.
if that's the case, then Marvel owes me a stipend because I just gave them a great idea in case they didn't know, but not that
You
they.
asking for stipends? I'll be telling them to build me a statue outside of headquarters
I
so
told
people
you
know
they
it's
should
me.
hire you all the time, man. I'm like, just
I do want to ask you guys one last question before we get into the end of this, and that is the spell of it all, the Doctor Strange spell from No Way Home. So this kind of is plays a big part throughout the whole film, I would say, but it ends on a very what's your interpretation type thing. I hate when people online, like, they're very the discourse online is just so negative. This is why I like having conversations like this, and this is, again, Nick, our second time talking, but our first for my pod, and Sam, this is our first time, like, actually talking and diving into stuff. So
Yeah.
there's like this conversation on the internet where it's like, oh, if you don't really understand the end of Brand New Day and like the spell of it all, like, this is why media literacy is dead. And I'm like, bro, like, they literally left it up for interpretation for
Yeah.
us.
It's your
So
Odyssey thing, man, where it's like, oh, if you didn't know the story of a 3000, I'm like,
you
well,
come
not
on,
everyone
son.
remembers the
Like,
Odyssey. Relax.
it's
Like, it's
just
okay.
I hate discourse, but leaving the discourse out of it all, I felt like I want to talk about our interpretations of the spell and the ending of it. So for me, I genuinely think that I genuinely think that she remembered, especially with the Dahlia necklace. Her at the end of it, she's holding the black Dahlia necklace on the roof that they used to all hang out on. To me, I don't know how she
Hold on one
remembers.
second. Sorry.
You're good. Uh,
Stop knocking on Daddy's door.
I
Okay.
feel like here. You
In
here
a
for a
minute.
second.
Sorry, yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.
We're talking about
Hey.
Spider-Man. You want to say really quick, what did you think of Spider-Man?
It was great.
It was
Yeah.
great.
4.5
You give it how many stars?
4.5.
4.5 out of 5.
That's what
Just
I
like
gave
Jam.
it.
Jam
That's
gave it
what
that
I
too.
gave it.
Okay, let Daddy finish, okay? And then we'll
I,
play, okay?
I won't keep him too much longer. I
No, it's
promise.
okay.
Can we go to Titi's house?
Later.
Dang, I lost my thing.
Oh,
I
I'm
lost my
so
train of
sorry,
thought.
man.
Nah, you're
It's
good,
every
bro. You're good.
podcast of mine. He's like, Dad, you've been
You're
up
good.
there an hour. I'm coming in. And it's like, hold
Aw.
on. Just give me a sec.
Dang, I lost it. I
Oh, the
lost it.
ending
The
about
spell. The
Ned,
spell.
about
The spell.
Ned's reaction to it.
Yeah. So I do feel like MJ remembers. I don't. I'm gonna assume it's because once she was in the Jean Grey spell thing, you see her tears. Maybe because Jean was in her mind previously, and now she's connecting with Spider-Man. She remembers. I don't know, but the only reason I feel like she remembers is because she's sitting on the roof with the black Dahlia necklace and she gives that smirk. That's my feeling. As far as the net of it, I think at first I felt like it was just uh like I felt like it was just muscle memory.
Mm.
That was my
Yeah.
first. I was like, all right, this is just probably
Mhm.
muscle memory. And him saying Peter is him realizing MJ called Spider-Man Peter earlier.
Yeah. Oh,
Watching it a second
Mm.
time, I'm like, nah, they just not gonna do shit like that just to end it and then end the movie. I'm like, nah. But I want to ask you guys, Sam. I ask you first. What do you think of the spell? Do you think they remember or nah?
I'm actually so glad you brought this up because I was thinking, I was like, if I'm not going to bring it up, I'm not going to say it. But I actually I'm on team. They should let how No Way Home ended stay that way. Like, I think Peter, like, this kind of segues against, like, if, like, they remember or not. But, like, when MJ discovered the letter and was like, were you going to tell me this? And they have that whole confrontation. And then she ultimately says she doesn't love him. Like, I think that's like the reality of that decision from No Way Home. And I think that's
Mhm.
really important. I think they should stick with that. Like, stand on business. Like, if this is like Peter, especially, like, I think the whole arc of him going through change and accepting, like, part of that is like accepting that things are never going to be the same. Like, you are never going
Even
to
if they're
relive
just
that
friends.
life, even if
Yeah.
they're just friends. Like, either he has to like win their trust back, or he has to accept that that chapter is closed. He's now has a new relationship with himself being Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and now he has to like meet new people. Like, that's just like the reality of things. So I really, really hope that they don't remember. I hope something with Jean didn't like, tweak something in their minds to remember, because I feel like that would just undo everything that No Way Home, like the point of No Way Home, like
Well,
you
and
can't
And the
just
point
scratch
and
that.
the point
that
of the movie and the
yeah,
point
that's
of
a
And the
this
point of the
stakes
movie.
thing.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I kind of was just like, at first I like the first time I watched it, I was like, oh my god, Ned remembers. But then watching the second time, I was like, like, I don't think that he should remember. Like, I don't think that
Mm.
this is a good decision, because then it's like, okay, well then what did Peter learn this whole time? Like, what was the point of going through this whole thing? Like,
Mhm.
like, I understand, like, that's the part where I felt for him, with him struggling with change and like struggling with grief and all that stuff, because he's grieving Aunt May, who actually died, but he's also grieving like the relationships that he had with Ned and MJ, especially MJ. And it's like that felt like I felt that when she said that she doesn't love him, and I felt his emotion when he was so upset. And it's like, well, now he really has to stick with that reality and move forward with it and know that, like, things are never going to be the same. So I actually like really hope that they don't remember, and I hope that they don't undo all that, because then it would just kind of be like, well, then he really learned nothing. Like, you don't get what you want, Peter. Like, that's the whole point of this. And I feel like that's the essence of Spider-Man. Like, he wants this life as Peter Parker, but like, since he's Spider-Man, he has to find that balance. And like, for him to be able to still be Spider-Man and also get that old part of him back, like, I don't think he earned it. Like, I don't think
you said it perfectly. You know what this movie reminds me of, or at least that theme of letting go and everything. It was encapsulated perfectly already, unfortunately, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 with I bet we were fun. Yep. I bet we were fun. And that's all. Like, I literally
I love that.
I cry every time.
I know.
I'm like, fuck. So I agree. That's my interpretation that they remember. I'm with you. I don't want them to remember.
But
how do you feel?
I think they could. So how I took it was they don't necessarily remember Peter completely. I think though they remember things like the handshake. Is Ned remembers he had that with someone. The reason why I think he goes Peter is because he's like, why is Spider-Man hanging out with MJ, and like the kind of back and forth they had. And what I loved about it was she rips his heart out, and not to be malicious, but
not to be malicious. Yes.
But then, that's just the truth.
Yeah, exactly. But then the moment where she goes, do you want to come inside, just to give him a few minutes of like, do you want to hang out with us? Because I know it's killing you not to. Would this few minutes just make your and so I think when he does the handshake to Ned, it's like, holy crap, I remember something. And then the Peter is because she called him Peter. So I think in his head, he's like, okay, we know Spider-Man. I don't know how, because they remember she even has the moment where she goes, how do you know me? Because of this, this, and this. And he's like,
well, I think at that time that was what's her name at that point?
No, because she's in the Punisher's facility when she asked him that. Remember? Isn't she sitting? It's before she gets the letter. Isn't she asking him like, don't you know me because you've rescued us a bunch of times?
No, that was on the balcony.
Oh, was it on the balcony? Okay,
that was on the balcony.
My bad.
Yeah.
Okay, then see, I need to see it a second time now so I can remember the exact order. But I do think for Ned, it's like there's gaps of like he knows like something, because again, muscle memory I think is how they'll get away with that. But I don't think it's like he now remembers the first time he saw Peter as Spider-Man, helping him as Spider-Man. I think it's more of, holy crap, we know each other.
It could also, I think, I like the fun theory that it's because Ned is magic. Also, he has the little magic to him.
So
the spell didn't fully work on him. I love that theory too. But I'm with you guys. I feel like
I think they did this intentionally because they know it's not going to get answered for quite some time, and they're like, let people think. And it's that open-ended ending where you could take it a million different ways, and now you have to wait till the next movie to find out, did Ned actually know it's Spider-Man or not? Like, does he remember Peter Parker? So
well, you bring it up beautifully to my next question, which ends this kind of for us, is what's next for Peter Parker Spider-Man? Because that post-credit scene, right, is very kind of like open-ended. I'm on the speaking of the post-credit scene, I'm on the fence of, at first, when I first seen it, I'm like, oh, that's just the setup for Doomsday, and Toby's going to be in Doomsday because of all the leaks, rumors that he's going to be in it. I'm like, that's it. But watching it a second time, the first thought I had was, oh no, this is like them possibly saying Peter, like Tom Holland, went off world. Then, as that was my thought watching it the second time. But coming out of the theaters immediately, like 30 minutes later, the first news alert I got was that the next Spider-Man film is going to be Beyond the Spider-Verse in 2028. That's the literal next Spider-Man film. And when you watch the post-credit scene, when it's going out into space, it glitches, just like Into the Spider-Verse.
And I'm like, it could be a way to tease that movie.
Is that how they're gonna tie in into the? Because they've been saying about bringing Miles. They're all every time they do any type of press, it's when is Miles, or what's the conversation on Miles, and we're gonna get to it. The way Tom Holland is talking is like, I'm ready to pass on the baton and whatever X, Y, and Z. While I don't want that, I still need 2 more movies out of you, big dog. I ain't gonna hold you. I
Mhm.
love the there was like a tweet. Somebody was like, you're doing this until you're 90. But
Mhm.
what do y'all think is next for Peter Parker, or this version of Peter Parker? Whether, or matter of fact, the post credit. If you think it's Toby Doomsday something, Sam, I'll throw it to you. What do you think?
Well, I've heard that it's like supposed to tease Secret Wars. So with him in the symbiote suit and like the black suit and everything. That's the number one
That's what I
theory that I've
want.
heard. That's what you want, right? But what I want, which is like nowhere like that's definitely happening. Like if they to go back to like the whole spell changing thing, if they really do stand on business with them not um having them remember him, like this is the perfect opportunity for them. Okay, he doesn't have Ned anymore. Introduce Harry Osborn, introduce Gwen Stacy. Like that's like
Mm,
what I want for Peter. Like I
Mhm.
want him to stay grounded, but like I understand, Marvel, big studios, they want, they got the Avengers Secret Wars. Like in a perfect world, that's what I would want for Peter.
okay.
But the reality that we live in, I heard that that's supposed to be a tease for Secret Wars. So I don't know.
You
Like at
want
this
the
point, I'm here for the ride. I'm just here to see what they do at this point.
you
Like
want
Yeah.
the Gwen
whatever is,
Stacy and the Harry Osborn, and I want the
yeah.
if we're doing Grounded, I don't even want Gwen Stacy. I want Black Cat. I want a
Ooh,
Black
yes,
Cat
yes,
connection.
yes, yes,
And my theory is because it's Destin Daniel Cretton doing it, I want them to tie. Shang-Chi he's the director of Shang-Chi. I want Shang-Chi to be as like a cameo in the film because I want
Mhm.
Black Cat to be working for the Ten Rings organization and Shang-Chi's sister, or like she has ties to her. And that's
Yeah,
how we get the Shang-Chi kind of connection. But
yeah.
in the comics, classic, look, here goes comic brain. In the classic comics, when Peter is wearing the black suit and he's dealing with Black Cat, he also has issues with Daredevil because Daredevil is trying to stop Black Cat from stealing and shit like that. So I would
Mhm.
love for them to like encapsulate that all together. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do think Secret Wars is what's next for him. Nick, what do you think?
Sorry, the more you talk about Black Cat, I think of Spidey and his amazing friends that my kids watch, and I'm just like, that little girl's always stealing stuff in that. She's so all I could think of is like, oh god, that show. So I think I think it's a tease for multiple Spider-Man things. I think it's a tease for if Maguire shows up in Doomsday. I think it's a tease for Secret Wars. I think they purposely are like,
Ooh.
we know Spider-Man's are or Spider-Man. I said that sounds weird, but we know there's gonna be multiple Spider-Man things coming in the next 7 years, and this could tease all of it. Just know they are coming, and the next time you see them will not be the last. Because
Yeah.
my whole thing is like, I don't think they're going to use Holland as much in the. I don't think he's going to be in Doomsday, and I think it's Secret Wars. It's going to be small because I do think, though I think he's your biggest character, clearly, Spider-Man. I mean, look, the
Yeah.
box office receipts just this weekend alone. I think he's the one character though who doesn't need other superheroes around him to be relevant. I'm not saying the other
Mhm.
ones do, but I think of like of all of there's
I
like
know what you
maybe
mean.
yeah, I think he doesn't. And I think how you could use him is sparingly in Secret Wars. So his next movie, because I do want him to finish this trilogy out. And I thought the blonde girl who said she lived on the same floor as
Was
him,
gonna be Gwen.
well, I thought it was gonna be Gwen. I thought they were gonna tease that now, and since they didn't, I do think there has to be an Osborn in one of these Spider because
Agreed.
that's too iconic. It would be like doing a whole Batman trilogy with no Joker, even if he's only in one movie. Like
Mhm.
the Batman is setting up where Joker has the little tease and he's not really going to be in the second one, but like you have to have him. I feel like I would love for the after Secret Wars when you could essentially stop the multiverse if that's what they're trying to do to like really focus on one world, one whatever. I would like him to have this like you meet Harry and you're like, okay, you start to get into that. So that way the third movie is the big culmination with him and Harry and then
Mhm.
passing the baton to Miles who will be like cameoed in the next movie and then maybe have like the sidekick role in the third one where he does like a little bit but he's like I
Mm.
need to do this because I don't want you to get hurt. Like this has to be me. I think they could do something like that. I just don't think they would keep doing Spider-Man to not bring in the Green Goblin, especially like that's so iconic. Like you
Or
need
Doc
Yeah, you
Ock
got
or
it.
though.
Doc
Yeah.
Ock, but you did Well, let me say this: to get a new Doc Ock and Green Goblin,
Right,
since you
right,
did
right,
get a
right.
tease with them
Mhm.
in No Way Home, but I do think like that's the only logical step next is you have to get to
Well,
those guys.
I did see this. I want to know what you guys think about this. You don't have to go into detail of it because I know we're hitting time close, and I got one thing I want you guys to
Mm,
end with.
mm.
But I did see this. Ned Leeds is technically a Miles Morales friend in the comics. So people were saying, what do you feel like once they bring in Miles, just making Harry Osborn Miles's friend instead? I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think we're at a point right now with Spider-Man, like specifically Peter Parker, Tom Holland Spider-Man, where I'm at a point I don't know if I want to see the same people over again. Personally, I know that
Yeah.
we want
Yeah,
that,
that's fair.
but I kind of wouldn't mind seeing a Mr. Negative next, or like other, like a
Yeah.
Black Cat, for example. That's why I bring those up. So what do you guys think of maybe seeing Harry and Gwen? And that's another thing. It feels like with the Into the Spider-Verse franchise, like they're trying to make Gwen and Miles like a thing anyway. So what do you guys think about putting them in a Miles franchise? Nick, I'll throw it right back to you.
Oh, I mean, yeah, if it's done well, sure.
Yeah.
It has to be done well. I mean, ultimately, again, I
Exactly.
think we're all in the same boat. If it's done well, we will accept it. You don't have to always love it, but if it's done well, you could get behind it. What I don't want is the slapdash of like, okay, well, we just need to introduce another thing, and we're like, this isn't working, so let's throw it. It has to make sense. Again, the
Mhm.
Jean Grey of it all could make sense because you're setting up X-Men, but also you're using you used it in a way that we could get behind even
We
if you
could
don't
get
love
behind
it.
it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
If that's what you want to do for Miles and that becomes a big bad for him, then you have to still tease it though in these Spider-Man movies. I don't think you could just be like, we passed the baton and we've never met Harry Osborn. I
That's
think there would
fair.
have to be
Yeah.
some type of tease to like, this is Miles' best friend.
Yes.
It's like something's
Sam,
off
you feel
about
that
this
way
guy.
too?
Yeah, I think you
Totally
would have
agree.
to.
Yeah. That have to be like
Yeah.
natural. Like it can't just be like,
Yeah.
oh, here you go, accept it. Like
It can't be.
I
Mhm.
really you have to have it like be like in an organic way. And like I really
Yeah.
think like I think it like, Spider-Man, where's Oscorp? Like I feel like that's kind of a big thing in the comics and like even the original one.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for that. And I just want them to
Mhm.
take that risk and take like, take it down a notch with all this like crazy space stuff and like just really just give another, like this was good. Like I'm not saying it wasn't, but you know, just, take themselves a little bit more seriously in that aspect. Like, you know, I don't know. I'm
Mhm.
kind of I mean, in general, I feel like I have a little bit of like MCU fatigue just because like I think that I'm questioning their decisions and like what they're putting their focus in. So I don't really have faith that they're ever going to do like any Harry Osborn justice or like,
Mm.
even Miles Morales at this point. Like, I want them to, and I want them to take that risk, but I just don't know. I don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like,
That's fair.
I'm
That's
ready
fair.
for
That's fair.
I'm ready
Mhm.
for Doomsday. I'm ready for Secret Wars. But after that, like, okay, like, are you gonna keep recycling the same people? Or are you going to actually like take your universe into a new direction? Like I want some
Yeah.
horror in the Marvel universe, like I want it. I'm happy about Ghost Rider, but Blade should also be in that like like lineup, you know.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I At this point, I'm just gonna see what Marvel does, and
Yeah.
I'll have my opinions about it.
I could talk about theory, like seriously, because I could talk about theories like all day. Like
Yeah.
Me
it
too.
may be the Osborn of it
You know what? I was gonna
is
say I saw someone compare this to Marvel is like a sports team that you've rooted for your whole life that had a really hell of a
Yes.
good run, and
Oh
now
my
the
god.
last 5 years they've been rebuilding, and some draft picks have hit, and you're like, wow, that's good, and some draft
So
picks you're like, what
true.
the hell are you
Yeah.
doing? And it's why Jam when we talked about like for DC is now DC's doing the rebuild phase where they're like we're trying to rebuild our credibility again with the general audience.
Mhm.
Now, do you take what Marvel did well and do it your own way and then see where they made missteps and go, okay, we can't do what they did. It's why I was telling you, Jim, the next like 3-4 years are gonna be so fascinating in the superhero genre
Mhm.
because you have one universe that's completely trying to reset itself somewhat because they're going to keep some characters and another universe that's trying to get off the ground in a time where everything you do, and this is for both brands, pits people against each other, whether you're trying to do it or not. And it's we talked about it, man. I just want to live in a world where everyone goes, this is great. We got good DC, good Marvel. We're all eating well. We don't have to pick sides. Just enjoy it. It's like everything has to
Well,
be.
that's that.
Do you see what they're doing? Oh, they suck. They're not. They're good. And it's like, can we just let it play out? That's all. I know it sucks to wait, but like let it play out a little.
Well, that's what I was going to add on. Sam says she wants some horror in the MCU. Yo, come to the DCU. We got horror. Clayface is coming in October,
yeah.
yo.
I'm excited.
We got
I
good.
see.
We
I
got
see
good
the
horror.
trailer.
It's
Mhm.
DC is cooking right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so excited for Lanterns. But I want to end this off on a great note for Spidey really quickly before I let you guys head out. I want to know now that we have a new Spider-Man movie out. I feel like it's only right to rank our Spider-Man films, all of the Spider-Man films, really quickly,
Oh, this
right?
is
So
tough.
take your time. I'll
Well,
go first, so you guys
I was
could
gonna
take
say,
time.
yeah, I
I got,
just did a ranking, so if you needed me to go first, I would.
okay,
But if
okay,
you
all
got
right.
it. Go ahead.
So we gotta let Sam get some time. So I'll
Yeah,
go
we gotta
first.
let
I
Sam
gotta
go.
let
Yeah.
you go. So I got Spider-Man 2, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2 as the best one. This is not what I think is the best. This is my
Mhm.
personal favorite, my personal ranking.
Okay.
Because objectively, the number 2 film that is what I think is my favorite is what I actually think is the best, and that is Into the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales animated film, the first one. Then I have this Brand New Day. Number 4, I have No Way Home. Number 5, I have the first Spider-Man with Tobey and Green Goblin. Number 6, I have Homecoming. Number 7, I have Spider-Man 3 with the black suit, Sandman, and Venom. Number 8, I have Across the Spider-Verse, the animated one with Miles. And what was that? Oscar Isaac as
Mhm.
2099. Number 9, I have The Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew's first movie. Number 10, I have The Amazing Spider-Man 2, his sequel. And then ending it out, I have Spider-Man Far From Home at the last spot, number 11. Nick, let me
Mm.
know what you got.
Okay, now I'm trying to remember how I did it in my because see this movie. Okay, so again, we're just doing personal favorites.
Yes, yes.
So my number one is Into the Spider-Verse, the very first one. I think it's the coolest, like one of the coolest superhero movies ever. Number two, I had was Spider-Man 2. I really enjoy that movie. I think it's a great movie. This would be number 3. And again, it probably might even be number 1 in if I watched it a second time. I'm just going off of first. My number 4 is actually Spider-Man Homecoming. I love that movie. I'm like, I loved it, just felt fresh to me. Like, I think it was a cool, fresh take. And I love him and RDJ together. And as
Michael
much as
Keaton.
everyone, and Michael Keaton.
Michael
Look,
Keaton, crazy.
as the biggest Michael Keaton fan, I go, you're giving me Michael Keaton in an MCU movie? Hell yeah, man. I'm
Look,
like,
hold on. Before you
Mhm.
go on with your list, I have to say one fun fact here. I might have said this on my rewatch of Homecoming and like in my letterbox review. The only issue with the Vulture or Michael Keaton in that movie is that he doesn't have enough aura as like Spider-Man's 2's villains. If you would have gave him maybe a better, and I like the suit, I like that they went the realistic suit,
oh,
but he doesn't have any cool like still shots or like in motion maybe not in motion because he does have fire in motion scenes. It's just the
Mhm.
aura is missing from his character.
Mm.
He at least in the costume. Outside
okay,
of the
that's fine.
costume, he has that scene in the car ride. Crazy. But
And
that's the only problem in that
when he
film.
opens the door, and you're just like, what? The whole
Yeah.
theater. I was
I mean, he's
like,
acting, bro.
going,
He's acting.
"What?"
That's I think
Yeah,
he's one of
Oh,
the
it's
best
awesome.
villains in a
yeah.
Spider-Man film. It's just he's outshined by a lot of other great villains because their aura is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't mean to cut you off, brother.
No,
I had
no,
to say that.
totally fine. And then how did I have it? Okay, so that would have been my was that 4? My number 5 was like the first Spider-Man. I just again, I think it still holds up. The Danny Elfman score in that movie is so much fun.
Oh,
It's so
Favorite
crazy.
good.
composer. He's so
Yeah,
good.
he's so good. And then after that, it was my bad, flip flop. No Way Home actually was ahead of the first one only because I just love that we got 3 Spider-Man in one movie. I know
Yeah.
it became like the thing to kind of poop on that movie and be like, it's not as good because of blah blah blah. I'm like, It's so much
That's
fun,
so
It's
man.
fun as
funny.
hell.
Comic books
It's
are
so
about
good. It's
things
so
we couldn't
good.
ever see, and I'm like, if we could get a movie where we had Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, and another Batman all together, we'd all go crazy. Like just to
Yeah.
get something
And
like
William
that was so
Dafoe's
cool.
performance in that
Oh,
film.
Him and Alfred Molina
oh my
were
god.
amazing in that movie. I don't care what anyone says. I go, that was so good.
This is a safe space. Like that movie is so
Perfect.
fucking good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Like yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that one I would flip. So that was in my top 4 originally. So that'd be my 5. 6 would be Spider-Man 1. 7 would be Across the Spider-Verse. Because I really enjoyed that one a lot. The problem is now it's just that there's so long between sequels that it feels like a whole lifetime ago that we got that first Spider-Man movie. And I'm like, oh my God, this like I love it because they're taking their time on it, but I know there's been a lot of delays that aren't just creative things. So okay, so then after that would be so what would it be on? So Spider-Man, God, it was I think it was Far From Home. Basically, my bottom 4 would be Far From Home, Spider-Man 3, and then Andrew Garfield's 2 Spider-Man movies. So I think that's how it would end, because Spider-Man 3, there's parts I really liked. It's the one I've seen the least of the 3 Tobey ones. And the thing I remember most about it is it's a joke in Knocked Up. No, it's not even the dance. It's in Knocked Up. The joke keeps going, we got to go see Spider-Man 3. And then when Paul Rudd gets in trouble with his wife, she's like, where were you last Tuesday? He goes, I went and saw Spider-Man 3. She's like, I like Spider-Man. Like, so that's the lasting legacy, and the dance. But I do think every Spider-Man movie is enjoyable enough, and they haven't had like a truly unwatchable Spider-Man movie.
I agree.
I think they're all, at least you could find something.
You could find something good in it. Yes,
that was much harder, Jam, trying to remember what the hell my list was. Now
this is what you have Letterboxd for, bro. What are you doing?
That's literally what I pulled up.
I told you my Letterboxd problem. My Letterboxd problem is I just figured out how to use it lately, and my viewings are all out of order because I didn't realize you have to do the review part to get it in your like recently watched. I'm an old man, Sam. You should know this. I may be around your guys' age, but I'm an old man. Jam has had to help me so many times. Letterboxd, I'm like, how do I make it where the stars show up? He's like,
I told him I always tell him, just come. I got you. I'm gonna put you on. Sam, talk to me. What you got?
All right, this is tough. So I have to say, disclaimer, I have seen Into the Spider-Verse, but I didn't see Across the Spider-Verse. So I still have to see Across the Spider-Verse. But yeah, okay, I'm just gonna go right off the bat, like not even thinking about it. Spider-Man, yeah. Spider-Man 2, number 1. That is like I'm with you, Jam. We're speaking the same language. Like that movie is so perfect to me. Twin. So Spider-Man 2 is my number 1. Let's see, number 2. This is tough. I will probably say Spider-Man No Way Home. Like I love that movie, and not only that, because of how good it is, and like when they do like the dolly zoom when he like has his spider sense tingling and he realizes the goblin, like I'll never forget. Like I felt that in the theater. I was like, oh my god, I feel the threat, you know. But not only because of that, but because my guy Matt Murdock is in it, so you know that I appreciate for that reason alone. So I'll say No Way Home, number 2. Number 3, I will say Brand New Day, probably. I'll say Brand New Day. Number 4, I'll say Spider-Man, the first one, 2002. 5, I'll say Far From Home. I like Far From Home. I like Mysterio. I think that was a good... I don't know why people hate on the movie. Like, hold on.
I can tell you why.
Yeah, tell me.
All right, so this is a timing thing for me. I rewatched it. It's not as bad as I thought. It's not a terrible movie at all. Like how Nick said, all of the Spider-Man films are enjoyable. I think my biggest issue is I won't get past the timing of its release and why I guess the timing of it. When all we had in the MCU with Spider-Man at that time was outside of New York, besides one film, and that was Homecoming. Civil War, he wasn't in New York. Then we get introduced to him, he's in Homecoming. But then Infinity War and Endgame, he's in space or in the Avengers campus. So when you do his next film and he's not in, like the whole time he's not in New York, that's a very big aspect of his character that I really wanted to see
Yeah.
MCU Spidey's essence be. That said, it's also Spidey on vacation and it's fun. So it's not a bad movie. I think
Yeah.
that I will never get past that timing of it.
But
That's my
Gyllenhaal's
issue.
Mysterio is great in that movie.
Yeah,
He
so
is.
good.
He
I
fucking
was like,
is.
he's
And I
so
like the
Like,
way
good.
that they
and
made him
it
like the
has,
drones and it's like a team.
yeah,
Genius.
yeah. I think they had that was a good like that has really good scenes with him and Mysterio. Like when he gets in his mind and it's like the echo and it's like that. I visually I loved it. And for me, on the opposite way, like actually at the time when Far From Home came out, I was visiting my extended family in Indonesia, so I felt Far From Home as well. So I could
Okay.
relate to the movie in the sense where
Okay.
Spider-Man's also not home, so that also has to do with
That's
it.
fair. That's fair.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I guess I'll say after that, I guess Homecoming. I like Homecoming. Um, and then I'm sorry, like I love Andrew Garfield, but I remember just being so severely disappointed with those movies. So I don't even know if I can even rank them, but they're definitely in my bottom two, unfortunately. And like I count Into the Spider-Verse as its own thing. Like I don't, since it's
Yeah.
animated, like I don't really
Totally
count it with
fair.
like the live action, but I do love Into the Spider-Verse. So yeah, I'll definitely say like my number one Spider-Man 2, No Way Home, and then Brand New. They're probably like my new top three. I just love No Way Home. Like I kind of want to rewatch it tonight. But now I'm like, I'm gonna rewatch Far From Home and see like what the hate is all about.
What's
Um,
crazy is I was not a No Way Home believer when it first came out. At the time, it was spoiled so much because of leaks and we get so much trailers nowadays. Me and Nick talked about this before, but we get so many trailers that we get to see them so much that you don't really. It's
yeah,
not really too much like surprises. I already knew Toby and Andrew were gonna be in the film if their villains are in the film. Like it just makes the most sense. I didn't know Matt Murdock was going to be in the film. That was a nice surprise. But rewatching that film like lately, I'm like, fuck, this is like the perfect Spider-Man film. It's like a passing of the torch, a coming of the
yeah,
age, a paying of the dues to the other two. Like it's
yes.
just a perfect
It's
Spider-Man
what they
It's
movie.
did
got
with Andrew.
everything.
Yeah, it does. And what they did with Andrew Garfield in that movie is what I
Paying his
hope.
dues.
It's what I hope they do with James Marsden as Cyclops in Doomsday, and you finally give him something
Mm,
good, and like that's my hope for that character specifically for just that movie is like do what No Way Home did for Garfield Spider-Man, and I
Preach,
think they're
brother.
gonna do that. But yeah,
yeah,
that's I mean, anyone who can't enjoy that movie, it's like get that stick out of your butt, man.
yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
much
Just
fun,
watch
man. And,
it.
and
Yeah,
and sometimes
Movies can be
movies,
fun, bro.
but especially comic book movies, because you're supposed to give us something we've never thought we'd see because
yeah.
of age, because of contracts, whatever the case may be. We
Hmm.
never thought we were going to get three separate Spider-Men in one movie, and the fact that they
Mhm.
pulled it off the way they did,
Crazy.
So yeah.
And I also felt
Guys.
like it was
Oh,
a. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just felt like that one scene where Peter is fighting Willem Dafoe's Goblin. That felt so good. Like that was such a good thing. Like that felt like he needed to get head to head with him. Like
Mhm.
so, that was good. I'm gonna
That
rewatch it
might
Justice.
be.
tonight.
I think I'm gonna I just rewatched it, so I think I'm gonna rewatch the first Spider-Man. Like I want to do a rewatch of all of them now. Now that I've rewatched
Yeah,
all of Tom's films, I want to go and rewatch all of the others.
yeah.
Unfortunately, House of the Dragon comes on tonight, so I am going to be watching
Pretty
that.
busy
Not
tonight.
tonight.
Yeah.
If you guys are
Yeah.
for those that are watching here on YouTube after the fact, I'm dropping this on Monday, so tomorrow for us here. But
Cool.
so we would have already seen House of the Dragon. But I gotta let y'all go, man. I've taken way too much of y'all time, and I apologize. I know I said I was gonna try to keep it within an hour and a half, but I think
It
we all
never
love
happens, buddy.
Spider-Man, yo. Like
Yeah.
Oh, this was
we've all
fun.
Mhm.
yes. Before I let y'all go, any final thoughts, and then where can the people find you and all your work? Sam, I'll throw it to you first. Ladies
Final
first.
thoughts. Final thoughts. Spider-Man is awesome, and I feel like he's just like everybody's favorite hero. Like at the end of the day, it's always Spider-Man.
He's in there
You can,
somewhere, like in your
yeah,
top
always.
somewhere.
Yeah, like like growing up and everything. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Samantha etc. And on Twitter, Samantha etc_. That's where you can find me.
Nick, how about you? Final
Yeah.
thoughts, and where can
Uh,
people find you and all your
to
work?
to steal my podcast partner's thing about Spider-Man, it was just pure magic. That's what this movie is. It's just magic. Again,
Hmm.
I think it's a character that how do you not love Spider-Man? I think
Hmm.
I think what's funny is as I get older, I get less cynical. Actually, I start to appreciate certain things, and like it's just one of those characters where it's like, man, I just love it, man. You give me a good Spider-Man movie every 3-4 years, fine, I'm good, man. It's like Batman. As long as they're good, keep them coming.
Mhm.
You could find me. So I have two podcasts. One, Nick Flicks, is the one I do solo. And then my one that I do with my partner Phil is Nick Flicks and Phil at the Movies. We just took our two shows and combined them. So, yeah, they're both on Apple and Spotify, and then I'm on Twitter, Threads, Instagram. But yeah, just check them out. Let me know what you guys, and yeah, just like talk about movies.
Yeah, man, and it's great content over there. Sam,
Yeah.
you do a lot of
Mhm.
stuff too. I'll be reading your writing sometimes, man. You do a lot of things that I wouldn't normally read, but it's just because I know you. I always check it out. So you guys are awesome, man, and
Oh,
I
thank
I
you.
can't wait to have you guys. Of course, I can't wait to have you guys on again. About something. I know I'll figure it out. Hopefully, I could get Sam on some DC stuff. We'll see. I'm trying
I'm
to get
ready.
her
I'm ready
into
for
the.
my DC
You
era.
ready? All right, I'm gonna send
I'm
you
ready.
a little. You know what? Start with
Get me into
Lantern. Join up
Batman.
in
Get
the.
me a. Oh,
I was gonna
Lantern.
say
That sounds
join
good.
Lantern. It comes out like in 2 weeks on HBO Max. So,
All right.
Nick, I'm sure we'll talk about some soon. We got so many different topics that I feel
We
like we
do.
could talk about, bro. That's it. I don't know. I'm gonna get back for those that are watching here. I'm gonna get back to potting weekly. I just don't know what's next week. I haven't figured out what's next week. I think it's gonna be Avatar Aang, the last
Ooh.
Airbender film. That's what we're gonna talk about next. So I think that's gonna be it. I already seen it. Gonna have some Agents of Fandom friends to talk about it. So that'll be next. But this is it for Spider-Man on brand new day. I had brand new people here with me. Great time. I appreciate y'all so much. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to Journey Across
Thank
Media.
you.
Y'all have a good one, man. Peace.
Thanks.